I'm here at BGG.CON 2014 with Nick from Action Phase Games, and he's going to be talking about Heroes Wanted.
Great. So this is the game that my partner and I created, and it's called Heroes Wanted. The premise of the game is that you play a wannabe superhero who lives in Zeta City, and one day the champions of Zeta City have, one of their members has retired, so they're taking on a new recruit. So you decide that you're going to get your name in the paper so that you'll be the most famous wannabe superhero, and they'll pick you. So it's kind of like American Idol meets the Avengers. So you start the game by drawing 3 of these Hero A cards, and they have 3 different names on them. So you'll pick which one of the 3 that you want to be. For example, we have Meteor, Bot, and Giant. And then after you pick which one you want to be, you'll draw 3 of these Hero B cards, which have like bodies on them. So you get to pick which one you want to be of those. So you could have been DJ Meteor, Mighty Bot, or Super Giant.
You're essentially making little superheroes with the cards.
Correct. And the top cards tell you what your superpower does. So for example, Bot superpower is listed here. Now the different superheroes are, there's 4 different hero types. So you can see here that the cards are, they have 3 different color backgrounds. So those associate with the different hero types. And those will determine what kind of actions you can take during the game and what kind of actions you can kind of level into. So everybody's going to get this hand of cards to start the game. Everybody will have the same 5 action cards to start the game. One of them says superpower. That'll allow you, when you play it, to activate the text on your Hero A card. Everyone, depending on their hero type, will get a 6th other card, a special action, that you'll get to play. The game is a hand management sort of point accumulation game, so you're trying to score as much fame as possible. And you'll do that by playing actions. And on your turn, you'll play an action and you'll just do whatever it says on the action. And in so doing, you will gain fame by knocking out the little henchmen or the underlings or dealing damage to the villain. Now the villain in the game, he's going to be executing one of 4 plots. The game comes with 2 double-sided boards, so there's 4 scenarios that the villain can execute. This is kind of our beginning scenario. It's called littering, loitering, and jaywalking. So the villain is really ruining our city by his minions just hanging out on the street corner, him throwing garbage on the ground, and him walking across the street. Whenever you see the red lines, the heroes aren't allowed to walk through those spaces, so you're not allowed to jaywalk on this board, which is what he'll be doing. You have to take the crosswalks. So the game has a lot of theme in it. All the maps kind of make sense as to what mechanically the villain is doing and the plot he's trying to execute, whether it be like bootlegging DVDs or like taking over a fun house or trying to escape from an asylum. Usually that stuff, there's a lot of humor, there's tongue-in-cheek. All the guys have catchphrases on them. So you'll go through and it's very funny, the theme comes through, but at the core of it are these mechanics where each turn you play an action and then everybody else will get to play an action, and then it'll go to the villain. In the villain phase, his instructions are just written here on the board, so it'll tell you like what he's doing, how he's executing his littering, loitering, and jaywalking, or bootlegging DVDs, etc. At the end of the villain phase, you're going to be dealt damage. So you're going to take damage from all the minions that are near you on the board, and whatever the villain does, whatever he says. So the villains are also composed the same way as the heroes. You have an A and a B, a head and a body. So for example, this is Baron Von Twins, or it could have been Baron Von Hyena, or War Hyena. So again, the game comes with 36 of the heroes, A's and B's, so you have 1,300 different hero combinations. The villains, there's 16 of each of the tops and bottoms, so you're talking about another over 150 there. But when the villain does you damage, you have to defend that damage by discarding actions in your hand where the stamina value, which is this number in the upper left, is equal to or greater than the amount of damage you're taking. So if you're taking 7, you could discard a 3 and a 4, or you could just discard a 7. And some of the cards have abilities when you discard them to damage, so it allows you to get more efficiency out of your actions. As you play through, like I said, you'll discard actions, you'll play an action, you'll discard an action to damage. You're going to run out of cards, and this is where sort of the tactical and strategy part of the game comes in. Because once you run out of cards, you'll need to skip your turn to rest to get all your actions back. So it's very important that you plan out where you're going to be, when the villain's going to be there, and who you're going to hit, and how you're going to get these cards back. The game has an built-in leveling system to it, where there are these little headlines, and there are various headline tiles, so each time you play a board it'll be completely different because your hero will be different, the villain will be different, and then the little mini goals that you're trying to hit will drive your strategy. And those will help you unlock different abilities on your hero bonus card, and the hero bonus cards are all different and they're tied to your hero type. But they allow you to unlock a 7th action card so you have more options to your disposal. The game ends when the villain is knocked out, when all his hit points are gone, or eventually the villain can't escape on some of the villains. Now we have one more feature in the game where some people don't like playing with this, and you don't have to play with it because the game I just explained to you is a complete game. But it's kind of a party game aspect to it, where, like I said, you don't have to play with it if you don't want to. But this is a quirks. So these represent like the personality flaw that's been holding your character back. So maybe you, as Supergiant, you sound really awesome, but people don't like you because, oh, you have low-budget sound effects. Well, you want to make the team on your own terms. You want them to accept you for having low-budget sound effects. So it says whenever you play a basic action during the hero phase, you must make a sound effect. So if you were to play this strike, you would be like, bang! If somebody catches you, your marker starts out on a little 10 on the card, and if somebody catches you messing up your quirk, you have to move it over one. So every time you screw up your quirk and somebody catches you, you're going to end up losing 2 points by the end of the game. Some of these are really funny. This one's former sidekick, so after a hero sitting to your left or right KOs a minion, you must offer them a high five. So it's really funny. People really get into playing their character, and it's quite awesome. Most people, they either love it or they hate it. They buy the game for the quirks, or they're like, the game's really fun, because at the heart of it, it is a point optimization, hand management game, but it's something that's easy enough for anybody to pick up in like 10 minutes, and then it's complex enough that you can keep seeing different strategies that you could have played, or how you would have played your guy differently had you had him in another game.
So how many players can play?
It's 1 to 5, so you can play solo where you basically have a goal of how many fame you need to get before the villain escapes, and you need to knock out the villain, and then it scales all the way up to 5.
And would you say it's a game, you said it's a game that's easy to pick up, would you say it's, what kind of age range?
Well, on the box it says like 13 and over because of safety reasons, because there are little bits.
Yeah.
But we have tons of people tell us, I bought this game because I love superheroes. I taught it to my 7-year-old, my 8-year-old, my 12-year-old. It's definitely a good family game because you can play the game and have fun and not even be doing very well. Like, it's not a game where you feel like you have to win if you're playing, because there is a lot of humor to it and the theme comes through, and especially the quirks. Like I said, people play the quirks and they go, I lost by 20, but I had so much fun playing my quirk, I would definitely want to play it again. Or they're like, I lost, but I realized that I messed up on these turns and now I want to play my guy again, but I have to draw a new guy. But with the hero types, there are themes that come through that, like, you have different strategies that you want to do if you're a tech hero, or if you're a mutant, you definitely want to try to follow this plan. So, but yeah, it's fun for all ages.
And about how long does it take to play?
I would say if you're learning the game and it's your first time and you play like a 4-player game, it's probably like an hour and a half. Once you know how to play the game, a 3 or 4-player game will be like an hour or less. 5 players can drag on a little bit because you need somebody telling somebody, to kind of manage the gameplay. So we've had some 5-hour games, or 5-player games go for about 2 hours.
And where can people find the game if they're interested?
So that's a tricky question because originally we were on Kickstarter last February, so February 2014. We did really well, so we were able to put a bunch more stuff in the game, so there's way more cards in here than we originally planned. We launched at Gen.CON and we were in stores about 3 weeks after that. We sold out to distributors immediately, so we have like no games. We're working on a reprint that should be in stores in January. On top of that, we have a Kickstarter starting next February, or late January, early February, for an expansion to this where there'll be 2 more boards and 2 new hero types, another 35 guys, so there'll be a bunch more stuff. We have a couple of expansions to the game that add more cards, more heroes, villains, and quirks in this extra box. And then we have this we call Champions and Masterminds that turns the game into a co-op where you play as the champions of Zeta City. So they have multiple superpowers and they work together, so they help other heroes. Whereas the base guys in the game don't really help each other because it's not co-op, it's competitive. And the villains that they play against are much more difficult, and they add more board AI to it. So these right now are available on our website, the extras, but they'll be in stores, should be January or February also. And look for the Kickstarter.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.